the Queen of Shade. Thou wert full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. In the garden of God was where I found thee. Every precious stone did encase thy body, and the wings of a cherub did cover thee. You can never return. You can never return.
Hello, everyone. I am Lady Garland, and this is Finding Your Voice. My next guest has been on my show quite a few times with exclusive information. And today, the Queen called me again. And when the Queen calls, you answer. And so I'm excited to get another exclusive interview with her today. And I just want everyone to know that I don't even know what this interview is going to be about. Something has transpired in the Queen's life that she wanted me to help her share on my show. Now, for those of you who don't know the Queen of Shade, you must follow her on I Am the Queen of Shade on Instagram. You will find out everything about her, but I just want to say that she is an international singer, writer. She's a mentor. She's an entertainer. She's a transillusionist. The list goes on. But without further ado, I want to introduce to everyone the Queen of Shade. Thank you, Queen of Shade, for being here again and trusting me with your new revelation.
I have to say thank you to you because I always call you last minute and you have a life. They need to understand you have a very flourishing life out there in California and it continues to flourish. And yet you will drop what you're doing or make accommodation and you will come and you will sit and help me to process what's going on in my life, especially things that have a lot of emotional ties surrounded around them. So I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you for doing that. And I want the audience to understand that I'm 40 years old. I'll be 41 in September. I'm old school. I came from a time and I grew up in a time where social media was not readily available. When you wanted to get a message out to your people, out to your supporters, out to your followers, you usually had one journalist, maybe two, but it was usually one journalist that you could count on to properly tell your story, properly represent you. So for those of the people that don't know, you're that journalist for me. And they're going to understand because as we start to talk like we did before, I called upon you because you know me from the beginning. You know me from when it all started. So what I'm going to say is going to outrage you because you've been with me for so long, but I know that you with your Louisiana gifts and, abilities will help this shaman and this oracle unpack what happened. So I have to tell you what happened, but I just want to say thank you for taking this time to see me. So, okay, 6 a.m. I was going through stories like I do because part of my job is not just, creating my own content, but I have to keep up with the many thousands of boys that I showcase on my platform in addition to what I do. Well, one of those boys was having kind of like a midlife social media crisis this morning, and he was in his stories, he was melting down. So I decided, because I've had him on my show one-on-one with the Queen of Shade twice. And each time it has been an uplifting, empowering interview. And so I dropped my guard with this person. I dropped my guard. I believed that this person had a genuine agenda to kind of shine together be together, grow together. And not just that, I'm going to say it like this. He also wasn't coming to a no name. You know, I have a name. I've spent 20 years in this business, but the last 8 have definitely established my name as the Queen of Shade. And with that name comes a lot of respect and a lot of appreciation. Well, he was talking about creating 2 or 3 new Instagram pages because his page was being flagged for inappropriate content, which really wasn't the case. It's just like him or me or anyone else that's in the eye. People get jealous and they report the page. So then your page health is always warning your page could be taken. I'm talking about Instagram. Your page could be taken from you at any moment. My page has been under warning for 3 years. So it's kind of like a routine thing that they do. And as of lately, I've been upset with the social media platforms, particularly Instagram, because I feel like there's a double standard towards Black creators, content creators, people of color. I'll just say everybody melanated, because it's not just Black people, everybody melanated. I feel like there's this push where they allow Caucasian content creators, our counterparts, to do whatever they want to do. I mean, I was being blocked at a time where I didn't do anything wrong. I never do. I know my job. So at that time, Tommy Lee posted a picture of him on his page in a bike run, and they were all naked. Everybody in the bike run, they were all white men. They were all naked. And I'm talking full frontal nakedness. And he was never flagged. Why? Because he's Tommy Lee. But I have guys that at least have on a loincloth at sometimes, you know? And I usually try to pick guys that, you know, they're more shirtless than they are bottomless. I like it when they're just more shirtless, but I have posted some of the guys who have, you know, beautiful bodies all the way down. I have posted those because those are crowd favorites. Those are crowd pleasers. And what I'm showing and illustrating is that I'm very strategic with everything that I post. There's a lot of intent and a lot of calculation that goes into my postings. Well, I was talking to him and you know, I was trying to, my guard was down. I was trying to encourage him the way I have for the last year, not charging him for mentorship, mind you, but just seeing him as one of my boys, someone who needed someone there to be a cheerleader and say, you can keep going, keep going. That was my role for the last year. So we got to talking and I wasn't attacking him or anything like that. I was telling him, you know, it would be pointless to, you know, do 3 other separate pages because you've already built a community here. And he was worried. Well, he said, well, you know, the way that Instagram's warnings read is your content is not available to new followers. Yeah, we've all gone through that. However, my push to him was, okay, it won't last forever. It's not permanent. You know, go back through your content and get rid of everything that's from the bottom down. That's too racy, you know, post gym, you know, attire and things like that. But my main push was don't forget about the people that you already have. That is what I was trying to illustrate to him. Yes, it's great for your content to get to new people, but you've got to nurture the people that already follow you. That's ethics 101. It's not even business 101. That's ethics 101. You do not negate the people that are riding with you to go and get new people. And I hadn't realized that he was really like that. And I was talking to him and I'm trying to give him solution after solution. And I'm like, listen, the algorithms change so often, especially for Black creators, melanated creators, people of color, because he is Caucasian and Latin. So he's a person of color. But, you know, I'm letting him know, like, listen, you have to stick with this. And there was one point he got frustrated and he was like, this is like a damn job. And I'm like, yes, social media is a job. What do you think we're all doing here? You really won't get anywhere in this social media game unless you present yourself as a brand, a well put together brand, and you drive content. This is a job. I've been doing it for the last 8 years. I know. So it was in me trying to get him to understand all of those things that I just said. And he's new to me, and I'm going to tell you why. He came out of his mouth and he had the audacity to say to me, while my guards were down, you wouldn't understand because all you do is repost other people's content. You don't do anything on your own. So you couldn't possibly understand my dilemma because all my content is original. I want you to talk there because that's what I need, because you have been with me from the beginning.
Oh, that kind of, you're right. That I felt a little something in my gut. And when I feel it in my gut, it's not good.
Oh.
First I want to ask you though, how did that make you feel initially when he said that?
You know, I'm used to it because usually it's jealousy and envy. They're mad at, who I am, or that it appears that what I do comes with ease, so much ease. And in that, they neglect the fact that I have spent 20 years mastering this. This was not easy. We'll get into that. I'm going to answer your question. It hurt me. It hurt my feelings because I was like, okay, listen, you're not one of the others. I have shared some of my plans with you, plans that included your look, your face, your agenda. I purposely associated your brand with my brand on purpose because of my thoughts and plans toward you. And you would have the audacity to say that to me. And I immediately said to this person, that's not true. And as I started to rattle off my resume, this person said, it's 6 a.m. Now, mind you, I've been coaching him since about 5:30. It's 6:15 at this point. And he's like, now, mind you, we've been having a whole conversation. I get into that part to say that's not true and defend myself. And he says, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm not having this discussion. And he leaves. He later comes back and reads all that I said. But it was in that moment that I realized the envy and the usage. And it hurt me so bad because I realized all this person was after was the dollar. And my thing was, I explained to him that you have social media influencers on here that have been working over a decade and they still don't see the money. This is not where the money is made. It is the offers that come to you from doing this, the endorsements, the brand deals, the liaison representations that you get from showing your brilliance here. And then not only are you showing your brilliance, but your humanity, because you're so kind to the people that already support you. I'm not really, for myself, I'm not looking at new followers. I am very loyal to my community. I don't even call it a customer base. This is my community. Now, yes, these people could become one day potential customers, but right now they're my community base. They sit in the stands, because I talk like that sometimes. The bleachers are important. You need people there cheering you on and giving you that energy to keep going. But you have to understand every aspect of this game. And it just hit me so hard because I had plans for him and I immediately realized, oh, cut him out. And I forged with him a friendship over a year now. But I realized that his intentions aren't pure. And I said, yeah, go ahead.
How long has he been in the game, the social media?
He's an adult film star. And I'm glad that you asked that. He's an adult film star. He's been in the game circa 2011. And get this, I was a fan. I mean it. I was a real fan of his work. One of my names on one of the porn watching sites was his name with lover at the end of it. And I worked my ass off. Not to one day when I saw him, I said, I want to know you. And I worked my ass off doing my work. And I have several people like that, actors and famous people alike, that I have worked my tail off because I said, one day, not only am I going to know you, but you're going to know me.
Mm-hmm.
I worked my ass off to become who I am so that I could reach back and even help the people that inspired me once. So he's been in the game much longer than even I have.
Mm-hmm.
But to have him behave like that, and the last thing I said to him before I ended the transmission, I said, in my anger, I would never strike you. And then secondly, I would never voice an outlandish opinion, especially when I'm wrong. And I left it like that. And the reason why I needed help processing this is because it's not a hurt now. I wanted to share my credentials. I needed to flex my resume, but I didn't want it to just be me sounding off into social media's stratosphere. I wanted someone here who can vouch for when I first started shirtless on YouTube, singing my covers. I needed someone that can say, are you out of your mind? So that's why I asked you to do this with me, because, this has happened to me one other time. And it was with somebody I really, really admired. And like I said, I grew to get their attention. We all have motives. One of my motives for being who I am today was to be able to attract the attention of the people I looked up to and say, you inspired me. To have a conversation with those that I felt got me to where I am because they kept me going, And what's so crazy? You're one of those people. You're one of those people. When I met you, Garland, you had a very firm grasp of who you were and who you be. And I understood and overstood that. And one day in my mind back then, I hoped to even remotely have half of the confidence, a fraction of the confidence that I saw in you. No one could rush you. No one could push you around. No one could say anything about you that you couldn't refute. And it took me, YouTube was 18 years ago? It took me 18 years to get this confidence. And so again, answering the question again, it hurt me for a second, but I'm a lot different now than I was then. I didn't have too much to show back then. I had a voice, yes, but I was singing everybody else's music. I didn't have albums out of my own. I didn't have viral videos. I didn't have a whole talk show one-on-one with the Queen of Shade. I didn't have 3 podcasts. I didn't have all that I have now. So it stung, but then I was like, And, I went to my grandmother because she's usually up at this time doing her affirmations. She has a group of people that she has built, and she sends out affirmations. So she was up, and the first thing she said to me is, baby, when people say things like that to you, they're jealous of you, and you have to understand that. And she said, are you going to address it every time that you feel you want that this happens? She says, I feel you shouldn't. I said, well, I wanted to do a video once and for all, but you know me. I'm the Queen of Shade. If something pricks me, I'm not leaving it up to my rep to make a statement for me. I'm going to tell you where to go and how to go and when you can get there and as fast as you can get there. It's just who I am. So I just, again, thank you for being here because we can unpack this together.
It's interesting because when I think about this, the last conversation we had, we were digging deeper into your past, and the person and how you became to be who you are. Yeah. And when you said that you were you build yourself up to this status so that way you could reach,
Yeah.
be the level of some of these people so that you can talk to them. And
Yeah.
you did that. But I also remember when you were, I think it was college,
Yeah.
like you did that same thing. Like this is just a part of your journey and who you are. Like you're not pretending to do these things. Like you did these things, to get the attention or to not be bullied or whatever.
Yes.
It was a
Yes.
survival thing, right? And
Yes.
so now, as we come full circle, and I listen to you, first of all, I want to say how proud I am of you for how, like this is a Garland. This this is definitely a Lady Garland um, demeanor for you to do this exclusive interview with me, to unpack it, because you do share your life with your audience. But this is a different, I could feel a difference from you, a more ease, right? It's just kind of like what you're doing and what you have been doing is having, because for myself, I have, how I've grown into who I am is by having encounters like that, right? Because those encounters with people help you to realize some things about yourself. None of this has to do with him. He's hurt. He's upset. He's trying to figure things out, and he's so clouded in his brain that he could not see that you were the person to help him, to guide him through this, so that he didn't have to be so discombobulated, right? So he's discombobulated, and at that point, he doesn't trust anybody, right? So this really had nothing to do with the Queen of Shade and what your capabilities are. Right now, he feels like nothing and like he has no control. But here's the thing, is that you did all of what you've done to be able to reach to those people who seem like they were at such a higher level than you. But then you get there and then you realize that they're struggling, right? So you've been doing the work. This is amazing. Oh, I'm getting chills, because when I think about it, because people think that people who are in the president, we'll go all the way to the presidents and all that, they are people too. They just had a drive to get to a certain place. But just because you get there does not mean that you know who you are. Doesn't mean that you know who you be. Doesn't mean that you are emotionally at the level that you need to be able to even sustain where you are. Now, let's talk about the Queen of Shade. We'll start from Bjorn Dufault. Bjorn Dufault, who started off on YouTube, shirtless in your cave, right? Singing covers.
My back cave.
Was still having people come against you, right? So you've been battling it out. You already been in the war the whole time. So this is why you can be the mentor you are and be able to do this with ease and be able to help people through. I mean, what he's dealing with is doesn't even compare to what the struggles you've had to go through. Doesn't even matter what kind of content you did. You built your empire with the content you did. That to attack your content was very immature.
Mm-hmm.
So that just lets me know where his maturity level is, because that once you start, now you have to bark at me and to try to demean my content, then we know that he's not at the level that you had hoped or thought that he was at, right? I don't care how many porn videos he's did. I don't care how many people know him and this and that. He is not strong enough to even be able to handle what Instagram is posting about them, when you've already been through that and could help him to calm his nerves. But he wasn't ever listening to you in the first place.
And that's the thing. Like, it was my intention to get him through it, because I let him know. I said, listen, this is a business. This is a business. I said, You've got to devote time to it. And I even said to him, he said, well, I'm going to make 3 new pages. I said, the algorithm literally changes every 3 or 4 days. I'm like, listen, why would you leave an already established page to go make 3 new ones and never be found by the algorithm under the new sanctions of social media? You'll never be found. And then I asked him, he said, well, I did that before and I had 18,000 followers and I had 10,000 followers on the page. I said, and what happened to them? Oh, well, they got deleted, but that's not the point. And I said, what makes you think it won't happen again? What makes you think it won't happen again? Stay where you are and fight it out. Clean up your content. I said to him, he asked me because I said the word stark to him. And he was like, what's that? And I said to him, I said, listen, put only gym and fitness, content on this page. I said, because he also has OnlyFans. He gave me a year's subscription to his OnlyFans for free. So at one point he respected me. And I don't understand where the change happened because I didn't do anything wrong.
He never did respect you.
Oh.
It was just like what you were saying, because you can't, how are you respecting me? And then all of a sudden, not because I know you. So you didn't change who you were for him to not respect you. And even if there was something that you did that he felt that, did no longer fit with who he was, he did not handle this in the appropriate manner.
And I'm going to tell you something on that, Garland, on that note, I don't talk to him enough to offend him. I'm too busy. I don't talk to him enough to offend him. It's you. I usually get him late at night when I have worked the entire day and I am getting ready to go to bed. And I spend my last hour encouraging him. Now I'm angry. But it's like I spend my last hour before I lay down. And Garland, you know me. I don't just do this for one person. Conversations going on with all these boys. And my ability to do that and keep the facts straight is just a gift that I have. The divine gave it to me. I can't explain it. It's what I do. I'm able to keep up with every last one of them. I'm able to remember specific dates and events. I'm able to remember details about each and every one of these boys. And there are thousands of them. But for him, it made me say, I said, because I even typed to him, I said, okay, here goes the credentials list. I said, not true. I said, I spent $250,000 of my grandmother's retirement money to create music, to create a company, complete with website. I then created the Queen of Shade, write all the scripts for the 30,000 plus 60-second videos that I have. Then on top of that, I do the makeup, the hair. I keep the books. My accountant takes my trial balance at the end of the year and does his part. I keep the books all year long. I said this the other day. I said, necessity, we know, is the mother of invention. So I said in a video where I was actually not even dressed up, it was just me. And I said, money was a huge issue for me when I first started. But because money was a huge issue for me when I first started, it forced me to get smart. It forced me to have to think outside the box. It forced me to make accommodations for myself because I didn't have the money. I learned to do the hair. I learned to do the makeup. I learned to do every aspect of my job. Whereas you have celebrity hairstylists that are getting paid $25,000 a week. I'm doing my hair. And thank God I like messy hair. So I ain't got to worry about crimping it and flat ironing it. And, I run my hands through it. Sometimes I'll run a product through it. I like kind of the natural look, because my face is the beauty. My face is what does it. The hair just accentuates, and the outfits, the color blocking I'm doing today, it just accentuates what's already there. And, it kind of hurt me because I said to myself, damn, you got to know someone that inspired you and they left a less than favorable taste in your mouth. You discover that one of your heroes is a piece of shit. And that is hard. That's the issue. I entreat everyone, even if I'm angry with them, I entreat them with kindness, because you never know who anybody's going to be. You never know what they're going to become. If they're out here doing the work, you never know. And you can have someone whom just had an encounter with you drop your name in a room that you would have never walked into. And they drop your name because you were genuinely kind to them. And I have so many young men and women that have done that. I have gotten paid jobs because people remembered the light that I show and the authenticity of the fact that I care. I see every negative comment. I see every positive comment. I tend to respond more to the positive comments. I block the negative comments and I move on. But it's me that's going through every single social media site that I have, combing them and actually removing every single hurtful comment, because my agenda is not that hater. I am not going to have a new person come and be forced to read that spill. I created a safe space, not only for my patrons and community, for myself. That's what I did. And for
Now,
him, yes.
let me ask you this. Because I'm more concerned about where you are with yourself.
Yeah.
So when you said that it stung, did it make you feel a little bit doubtful about where you are and what you've done and accomplished?
You know, in that moment, it made me afraid. It made me afraid for a moment that I hadn't done enough.
Wow.
That was what happened.
Wow. Wait, let's just on
Yeah.
that, because that's so vulnerable and so honest. And I appreciate that, because I like to dig a little deeper, because when things like that happen again, like it was never about him.
I'm crying. I'm getting emotional.
Feeling the same way.
Yeah.
Because that's where a lot of people are, when they achieve.
Yeah.
They achieve. And this is what I'm the point that I'm feeling is important here, is that everyone wants the notoriety, the fame, the success, to run with the big dogs, all of this stuff, right? Not realizing that just because you maybe have gotten there or you reached that status does not mean that you've caught up yet emotionally to what you've achieved, right? So there's still a disconnect.
Yeah.
And so this is, again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this unpacking, because it's essential to find the diamonds out of it, right? Like, it's not a gossip session. This is a session to figure out like where the queen of shade is, right? Because really that's a mirror. That guy was a mirror, right? So he helped you to see, he reflected his insecurity of where he is, and then it showed where there's a little bit of insecurity in yourself that needs to still be worked on, right? It's always about us. It's always about us. And this is the opportunity to take what happened there to see where you are, right? You've come a long way, believe me, I know, because this was a whole different conversation, and you wouldn't even have to reach out to me. You'd have done this on your own, and you would have just, went into the anger mode, right? So I know that you have changed, right? I know that you are nowhere near where you were before, but that was another check for you, another self-check. And then you got a chance to go and review all what you've done, which is good. right? Because you review that, no, okay, I'm good.
Stay,
This isn't
stay,
anything about my what I've accomplished. This has to do about what I feel about my accomplishment.
stay there. Stay right there. I'm gonna go even deeper here. And the reason why it made me feel that way. As of lately, I've been talking to my grandmother, but I've also been talking to my psychiatrist and my therapist because I feel too old to be doing this. I mean, I've been crying because they're all telling me I'm crazy. They're all telling me, even my nephew, that there is no age on success and greatness. It can come to you in your old age. It can come to you in your young age. But it took me 18 years to get right myself. And when I say that, I mean my family had caused so much trauma in me that it took me 18 years to unpack it. And I feel like in that unpacking stage, I missed my prime. And my therapist and my psychiatrist, they've been talking to me, no, it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Some people are like fine wine, they get better with age. And I believe that. But I still believe right now, I'm too old to be doing this. Where my counterparts are retiring and setting up and getting ready to ride off in the sunset and party with their husbands and their wives and their children that are on their way to college. I feel like I'm just getting started, even though I've been at it 20 years. And the reason I say that is because, yes, I've been at it 20 years, but people need to understand about this career. You can be the greatest content creator, the greatest singer, the greatest actor, the greatest journalist, the greatest anything, but it still matters that you are seen. If you are not seen, your talent can make the grievous mistake of going into the ground with you when you die.
Ooh.
When you die.
Wow.
And that's kind of where I am emotionally, because I know it's not true. But, I look at my counterparts and it's just like, case in point, my grandmother. I was going off the other day. I was bawling my eyes out. And I'm like, Nana, I'm too old to be doing this. I'm too old to be doing this because I'm rethinking how my stage presence will be. I can't stand on a stage every night for 90 minutes. I can't do that. I have to think of another way. And I have other ways. The internet is involved in that. And there's something I want to do. And one of my friends who is a Hollywood actress, whom I did watch growing up and had the pleasure of becoming actually her friend, she told me, she said, baby, Hollywood is full of so many negative things. She said, listen, you go to Hollywood with your skill set, in your prime and your wits, and you leave there drugged and alcohol and upset. They take everything from you. You don't own not 1 ounce of your intellectual property. So she said it wouldn't matter if you were 70, you won because you have ownership to you. And ownership of what you have to do is your birthright. You didn't sell your birthright. And what hurts me most is that these men, my Black and brown brothers, they sell their birthrights. And I'm trying to be the voice of reason because I can't talk to them like this. This is too cerebral. I'm not calling them stupid, but I am a shaman. This is too cerebral. It'll go over their heads like a lead balloon. I can't. So all I can do is be patient. All I can do is comfort them in their moment of need. I can't go on and unfurl the entire scroll and show them everything behind the matrix.
Yes.
So I'm holding back. There are a lot of things I don't say to my following in front of this camera because there's a lot more that went into the birthing of the Queen of Shade. But it makes me feel so inadequate at times when I'm dealing with them. And mind you, They all have far less than I do. But I drop my guard and I genuinely I get into that mentor stage, and I don't charge them. I don't charge them the $250 that it costs to talk to me for 60 seconds. And I've got plenty of people that pay that. But you know something, Garland? The people that pay that purchase price for my time, they never disrespect me.
Say that again.
The people that actually see my value and purchase my time never disrespect me.
There you go. There you go.
Which brought me to another conclusion as I was speaking to my grandmother this morning. I said, Nana. She said, yes, because she knew exactly where I was going. I said, I can still do what I do on social media, platforming the guys, but I can no longer pick my guys up off the street.
There you go.
I have to go to, like any reputable business, I have to go to the modeling agencies and I have to book the looks that I want so that it is all above board. And me being an ex-model, they know it's a job. They come ready to do a job. They come with the media coaching. They come with the training. They come with the personality. They are ready to get paid because this is how they get paid.
Now it's just time for you to have another caliber of people and get paid.
Yeah.
Every time you do something, you need to be paid for it. You've worked yourself to that place, right? Yeah. You worked yourself here, but then emotionally you were dealing with people here, yes, rather than dealing with people here.
Yeah,
right.
My therapist said what you just said. She said, you are here and the people they're here. She said, and you're trying to do this and they can't because there's a whole bunch of steps and ladders you worked your way up to. She said, it's kind of like when you're changing a tire on a car, the crank. She said, you're fixing the car, but you're doing all that work to lift it. She said, and they don't want to lift it, baby. They want you to hand it to them.
And you were.
I was. And that's the thing, Garland. I was willing because my thing was, I'm an underdog. I come from the bottom. I didn't come from a family that had money or a family that supported me. I started from the bottom. When I tell you, I got my start in the projects. My mother brought me home at 17 years of age. My father was 28. I slept in a wooden drawer that she took out of the dresser. That's where I come from. And I never wanted to forget that. But you know, Garland, I find that the people telling me not to forget where I came from are still in that position. Because no one succeeding, achieving, and being has ever told me to be humble or remember where I came from. Not a one. Not a one, Garland. It hurts me because these boys are a part of my life. But guess what? I got to stop giving out pieces of my life to the undeserving. You got to work. See, this is the thing. My grandmother said it to me this morning. She said, yeah, you got to hire models, baby. She said, because models work to look that way. They work out. They eat certain things. They're fit. They know what comes with the job. You out here on the street like, oh, you have a great look. Come on in here. And then you mad that he's too hood to do the job. He reverts to hood mentality. I shouldn't be paying you in cash. I should be sending it to your bank account so that there's a paper trail of your revenue, because models are small business owners and have to do the same thing I do. Take it all to the accountant at the end of the year. I didn't want to leave. You know, but you know what? People do that. When you come from nothing, you try to help the people that were there in nothing with you. But you know, I know of all people, this can't be done.
Yeah.
The mentality is the problem. The mentality. And even as we're sitting here, I now, in this moment, see how far I've come.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. You went from the very beginning of this session, you because you know we are very spiritually led, organic. We do these things, and I can't help but recall our last interview where I could see and feel some of the brokenness and some of the insecurity, right?
Yes.
You were at a different space today, right? Not the same person. There was more confidence there, but still there was this level of humility that you were having and sharing about this person that you really valued, right? And then as we continued, you started coming in fully into the Queen of Shade and into your power and your center, right? This is why it's important to share in this manner, because it does help you to see from another perspective, right? When you're unpacking these things, you start to realizing that there was nothing wrong in the first place. It was just the the caliber of people you were dealing with. Do you mind if I share a little something that's
please do.
Because I've been having all of these synchronicities, and some of them I don't share, but I have to share this. I was just talking to a friend this morning. You talk about your friends who are retiring and all this stuff. I have a friend who shared with me months ago that she found out that she had enough in her pension to retire, and she chose to retire. She's not even 60 yet, right? Another friend of mine was telling me just this morning that he's retiring. He's 58.
Yeah.
He plans to retire.
Young.
Go with his husband to the island of Paris to, retire there. He said that's the plan. And so I literally was thinking about this morning. I was like, damn, I'm 48. I'm working this job to pay fucking bills. Like, I'm in this money game that I didn't want to be in. And I'm doing this to pay bills, right? Nothing building my retirement or anything, right? Like, I'm like 48 for the first time. I'm actually focused on, let me pay these bills so I can buy back some freedom of my time, right? And I didn't feel, though, for the first time, like, I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel like, oh, I got duped or this or that. But it doesn't feel good because I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm exhausted emotionally and mentally because, like you said, I know there's so much more to me and there's so many gifts and talents that I have, and they keep going higher. Even in this place that I'm at, I know I'm supposed to be here. Even in this space in time that I'm at, I continue to see how my gifts are expanding, right? Because I keep having these synchronicities that are just so clear to me, like my gifts, like I'm honing in on them. I'm noticing things that I've never saw before. I keep getting clearer and clearer and clearer. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's next. I don't know how I'm going to get there, and I'm not concerned about that. What I'm more concerned about is me continuously becoming the best version of myself in this lifetime, right? Because as we're talking and we're talking about people who have things and accomplish, and even your friend, the actress, is like, this is smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's not even real in this matrix. It's not. Sometimes I have this moment where I laugh, I giggle. I'm like, I'm thinking I want this and that, or don't really know what I want, but hoping that at least, a half of my gifts can actually have some notoriety in this lifetime or in this matrix, in this game we're playing. But if that doesn't happen, and if we are consciousness, if we are energy, and we shed these bodies, I just hope that my dream in that state of not being in this body is a good one. It's full of joy and peace and harmony, because all of this is temporary. So I just wanted to share that, to let you know and the audience know that being present in where we are is very important.
You want to know
and I believe that to get to our highest state of being, and to get to, for whatever it is that we're supposed to have outside of ourselves, it will draw itself to us as long as we continue to develop internally.
Thank you for sharing that. Because the truth of the matter is, I have ideas, I've got plans, I've got things in the works, but things fall through. Things break down. Things never get greenlit. So, Garland, I don't know what the hell is next for me either. And my grandmother said to me, baby, when you don't know what's next, it means you're supposed to stay on the level that you're at and keep working. She said that to me yesterday. She said, and why are you fretting? She said to me, and this was before this happened. She said, don't you have your time? I said, yes. She said, don't you own your intellectual property? I said, yes. She says, aren't you taken care of? I said, yes. She said, then what are you looking for? She said, everything that you keep telling yourself, one day I need, and I'm working toward to have it. She said, sweetheart, you already have it. She said, you roll out of bed when you're done sleeping. There's no alarm clock. There's none. And I looked at her, because for the first time, I looked at me. I was like, wait a minute. She is absolutely right. I'm so respectful of people that have regular jobs, because I know, listen, whether you own your own business or whether or not you work for somebody else's business, we all out here working. And if you're Black, oh, honey, they gonna work us till the day we die. And the game is not to let that happen. And she said to me, she said, sweetheart, you don't even leave the house unless you want to. She said, she was getting on my bougie side. She said, you have everything delivered. I said, you're right. She said, food, makeup, clothes, wigs, shoes. She said, you have everything delivered. What are you looking for? You already lived the life you've been trying to achieve.
There you go. Sage words. And that's when I come back to myself and I realize, I'm like, my boyfriend, he pays for everything. I don't have to.
Yeah.
Rent free. All the money I make, I'm paying off my bills.
Yeah.
And I'm able to pay them off quickly because I don't have to pay any rent, water, lights, electricity, nothing. And I think about it and I'm like, it's okay for us to get frustrated. It's okay for us to kick and scream here and there.
Yeah.
But we have to be reminded that whatever it is that's in the future, it's not there yet. The future and is now. The present and the future is now. So So there's really nothing more else. There's really nothing else to be striving for. So I like the fact that I've gotten to the place where I don't know. I don't know. It's better that way for me because I could just let everything unfold. Right? And your grandmother said it right. I keep doing what I'm doing. I keep doing what I'm doing. I can feel myself getting better as a person, as a human being, as a spirit being, having a human experience. I feel that elevating all the time. So who knows what's next? Doesn't matter because I'll be ready for it.
You know, I use this analogy. I was such a late bloomer because of my mental illness. Like I said, it took me 18 years to get it under control. I had to accept that my family had done just that much damage to me, coming along with their backwards ways of thinking, their generational curses, their disbelief, and their non-support. I had to realize it took me 18 years. And at first I was like, damn, they fucked me up that bad. But when I sit here and I think to myself, it wasn't really that I was overcoming what they did to me. I was finding myself again. We have to be so careful because it doesn't matter whether we work regular jobs or not. We deal with a world whose entire intention is to take you from you. To take you, take your time, take your energy, take your money, take your talent. No one's ever giving. And being Black really does matter about this because there is this systemic problem in our country that says, take money from Black consumers, but don't give any money to them. There is this general consensus that says, yes, let them produce the work, but we don't want the producer. And I must say that I sit here and I said to him, I said, baby, I didn't become famous from posting men. I became famous from my original content, what I say out of this face. I said, that's what got me here and has kept me here. Because what have you learned about my page? There's always new guys. There'll always be new guys. But there's one Queen of Shade. And she remains constant. She's the most constant thing on the page. The point is the guys are my commercial break. Because if I just posted me, I would tire the entire world out. Sabrina, you know, their cerebellums would be weak. They'd be like, I can't take no more of this bitch. It's too much. So it's like when I post the boys, I'm saying, and let's go to commercial. That's what the boys are. And I love them for that because they lend themselves to me to be able to do that. And I've been doing that for 20 years. I've known boys for 18, 19, 20 years. It was always my endeavor to uplift my own. But you know, looking all the way back, I was always disrespected by boys who never did the work themselves. They were looking for shortcuts. And even he was looking for a shortcut. He was so consumed with new people following and being able to see his content that he was totally willing to throw away everybody who was there already. And you know, ethically, that hit a chord in me. I said, you need to pay attention to the fans and community that you already have. And that's when he disrespected me. It was at that moment. Nothing that I had said prior to saying that. But when I had a belief contrary to his and said, it's not about some new person, it's about building the community and the relationships you already have, he got upset.
Queen, I'm going to share this and then I'm going to let you have the final words because that was really, we could have ended it there, but I feel it's important to share another piece of my life. I was working from home and the people who fully supported me from home were Black people. And it was so interesting for me to see that because I had a very multicultural following. And then I ended up with a handful of people who I realized were Black. And I was like, that's where I started.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved in with my boyfriend at the beginning of this year. And I got a new job, a corporate job. Um, and I thought that my clients would, my clients from LA were like, they just find somebody else or whatever, but they really liked me and they like what I do. And so they travel to me and I travel to them. And I decided, as exhausted as I've been, I didn't want to let go of the people who supported me when I needed them. So I'm saying this to tell you that I'm right there with you, and I know this is why you trust me with this conversation, because you know that I would be able to relate to you in a way to let you know that you're absolutely on point. It's valuable and important to me to make sure that I show them how much I value them because they were there when I needed them the most. But I ended up getting a client recently who's on another level, right? She deals with celebrities, gorgeous house, in one of the exclusive areas in town. And she wanted me to do her hair and at her home. So I picked up a higher level of client. And then one day she had a friend there who's like a big wig in this publishing company, right? And she needed her hair done.
Mm.
So I don't know where and how the universe is leading me this way, right? Because I didn't let go of the people who cannot pay the price, because now my prices in this level is going up, right?
Mm.
But I'm not charging my other clients that level because they're not there, but they still appreciate me and value me, and I value them. This is how it works. This is how it works.
Thank you. Because get this, in business, there are price points. And I'm trying to get my boys to understand that there are price points. There's stuff for a little bit more higher clientele. Then there's stuff for the middle class. And then listen, all the design houses do it. All the design houses do it. They do, haute couture, ready wear. Then they come down and you get stuff at Macy's and Bloomingdale's. And then you can fish and get a t-shirt that says Gucci on it. You can buy a pair of sneakers that have their marquee on it. But I always knew that that's kind of like their extra money. That's them taking advantage of the client, of the customer that's there. Well, you can't really afford all of this. So let me just throw you this and you're going to be happy and satisfied with it because my name is on it. But that's not the case. This is what you can afford.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is free business advice here. This is
I've been in this 20 years, girl. I've been in this 20 years. I've learned so much. And I said it in that video. My skill set is crazy. My skill set is unmatched. With the jobs I do, there are Caucasians right now in a boardroom with one of those jobs, making six figures, putting their children through college. And people have a hard time believing, oh, no, baby, I do that job too. Oh, no, I do that one too. I do that one too. Oh, no, baby, I do the boardroom's job. All of these people at the table, I do all their job.
Yes, you do.
And people are like, how do you stand to do it? I do it because I have to do it.
Let me ask you this. How do you feel now?
Calm. And I just shake my head because I'm like another one who didn't understand the gifts that I was trying to impart. It was not about using him to get somewhere. And that was kind of lingering around too. But my thing is, sweetie, you came to me and asked me for the interview. The first one, and you asked me for the second. You did that. I did not, it was not my means or intentions to exploit any of these boys, which is why I tag every single boy, because I want them to get all the opportunities that present it themselves to them. I don't even want to be involved in the conversation. I tag them so you can go bombard their DMs and ask them to do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of stung because I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him. You know, he had the look that I was looking for. I said, okay, it doesn't matter that you're an escort and a porn star. I'm going to clean your ass up. You look great in a suit. I'm going to drag your ass out there. And it's the perfect message that these people are people too.
Mm-hmm.
It was the perfect match. Leading lady, leading man. But you know what I'm going to have to do? I'm going to have to hire a model and get the look I want. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I can't pick them up off the street no more.
And how you take your shit to another level. And there it is right there. That's how you take it to another.
Yeah, and get it. I'm still going to promote the boys on my page. But when it's time for me to do things, I gotta, that's the crazy thing the divine is showing me. I gotta play where I am. And I didn't even realize I was there. Like, I didn't realize I was there. You know, people are like, oh, you have life. And I'm like, what?
You letting these boys be your commercial break. I love that, by the way.
They are.
That's iconic. You letting these boys be the commercial break is more than enough air time for them. You don't have to use them for anything else.
And I realized that. And my grandmother said it to me because she did what you did, nodded. I said, I'm on another level. And she said, It just, and get it. I once had a shaman say to me, God's going to take you from the very bottom. The divine is going to take you from the very bottom to the very top. And this is just another level that I have to get used to, is that I can't, no, you got to book someone to do this. When you want something done, you got to book them for their look. You got to, because they're going to show up and they're going to know how to act. Because what I'm doing is, when I take from the streets, I got to take and train them. And half the time, they don't listen.
No.
They don't listen until the shit hits the fan. Then they want me to run in and save them.
Exactly.
And I can't afford to do that anymore. Do you hear me? I can't afford to do that anymore. Life and my presence and my ensemble is calling me higher.
Yeah, because you did the work already. You did all the exhausting stuff. So now it's your time to relax. Like, you could be in your retirement right now and working with those who are actually going where you getting the income that you've earned over these years. You don't have to keep scrapping from the bottom. That makes you feel like you haven't gotten anywhere.
Right.
Because you're allowing yourself to go to the level where you are now. Because it's your heart. You care about people, and that makes it a little bit challenging. Yeah. But the people, even like I said, I had the handful of people that stayed with me. Those are people who it's still income. Yeah. But people who not charging and they don't want to hear your advice, like, and they're going to try to downplay you, that's not your people.
Nope.
It's okay.
Yep.
No hard.
No hard.
This is how it works. This is how the game.
I love how you said this is not a game. This is how it works. Exactly. This is how it works. I was already guarded, but now I have to be even more guarded. And I knew it because my grandmother was talking to me about, I have very few friends, Garland. I have very few, because it's difficult to trust people when you do this. Difficult. Because everybody, they're going to want to touch it. They're going to want to, glean. They're going to want to take, so the less friends I have, the better. And I mean, real, true friends. The less, the better. But get this. I work so much that my real best friend, who happens to be a Libra like me, she's my best friend, and I haven't seen her in 5 years. And we live in the same city. I work like that. I work and get it. She knows, and she'll shoot me a text and say, I see you killing it. I say, I see you killing it too. See you at the top. She said, I see you on the other side of this mountain. I'm about to run over here and get this money. That's how we talk. I talk about this like a drug dealer, because people don't understand why I do that. This is the grind. This is the hustle. So I'll say to her, like, honey, let me chop this hair on up and get it out. I'll get back to you. It's how but like you said, I'm doing the work. These boys want to walk into an already established business and springboard off of it. And get it, social media, already established businesses, they're not letting it happen anymore, which is why they're cracking down on the algorithms. You're not walking into somewhere with nothing and getting everything. You get nothing for free. And I just need to follow suit. So that's all I got to say.
There you go. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here. I am Lady Garland, and this is Finding Your Voice. Remember, there's only one you, and nobody can be you better than you can.